You probably think it's your phone, or your rent, or that one impulsive flight you booked at 2 a.m. But no, the most expensive thing you own isn't in your wallet. It's you. Your thoughts, your feelings, your late-night Googles all sliced into data points sold faster than you can say skip ad. And the most valuable thing you give away for free is your privacy.
Privacy is your right to either keep something to yourself or, if you want to, share it with others. Once we lose that right, then that opens the way to other human rights abuses.
I felt comfortable to share information, and then that information was used against me.
Here's what happened before you even got to this sentence. Your device logged your location, your browser cached your clicks, your apps pinged 3 ad networks about your presence.
That information about you, where you are, what you're reading, watching, or listening to is being sent out from that app or that website to many, many, many different companies.
No alarms, no warnings, no one asked. Just silent surveillance with a smile. And did you agree to all this? Technically, yes.
To have somebody using your online and offline data to orchestrate fear in your life feels like an unimaginable breach of trust.
Every accept all cookies, every yes while using the app, every sure I'll take the quiz wasn't a harmless click. It was consent, a contract. And what you gave up wasn't just data. You signed over your story. We say privacy is a right, like it's something we can still protect. But every day, without even realizing it, we trade pieces of it away, not in big moments, but in tiny, automatic decisions. If privacy technically exists, but we keep surrendering it, is it still meaningful? If so, why do we keep giving it away?
I think my online presence really validated me. It was a way to show up to friends and colleagues and really craft an impression of myself. It actually made me feel powerful at the time. Posting, tagging, sharing, and the platforms really helped me to feel that this was a secure, safe space.
You didn't plan it, you didn't think about it, you just wanted to see which Stranger Things character you are. Totally harmless, right? You clicked the quiz, granted full access to your Facebook profile, allowed location tracking, shared your contacts, and answered 25 questions about your personality, habits, and routines. And for all that, you found out you're Steve. Funny, charming, emotionally available, a great babysitter. Meanwhile, your digital profile now includes your political leanings, your shopping habits, your fitness level, your relationship status, your closest social connections, and a fresh estimate of your net worth. All for Steve.
We pretended to be a data buying company that was involved in the defense industry. And from one of the data brokers, we obtained a list of all of the different characteristics that they could know about us. And then we got the ID codes for how you would target that person in this real-time bidding online advertising system. Incredibly intimate things, not just limited to what company you work at, but do you have a gambling habit? And if so, which company do you use to gamble with? Are you considering divorce? Do you have a transmitted disease? Are you thinking about weight loss? Are you trying to quit smoking? The list goes on and on.
1 million users may have had their login information stolen.
They are pointing to a security issue.
Today we released some research into 400 malicious mobile applications.
In 2022, Meta uncovered over 400 malicious apps quietly hiding in plain sight on Google Play and the Apple App Store. They looked harmless: photo editors, fitness trackers, horoscope apps, mobile games. But behind the filters and quizzes was the real prize.
It's not a secret that monitoring social media has become almost the cake of intelligence analysis. It's not the icing. And there's entire industries of companies that do nothing but sell tools for monitoring social media networks to not only police, but intelligence agencies, drug enforcement agencies, et cetera.
If I have enough information about you, and I have the right algorithms and the right technology, then I can start to create a simulation of you. I can start to create an approximation of you, a proxy that I can use to intuit your behavior, ask it, well, what are you going to do next?
A study published on ArcSiv demonstrated that as few as 8 to 9 of an individual's social contacts are sufficient to predict personal attributes with high accuracy, even if the individual hasn't shared that information themselves. But hey, privacy is a personal choice, right? If you really want to protect it, just use a VPN. Just don't click accept all. Easy and simple. Except it's not.
There is no way to meaningfully and really consent to this data free-for-all. The consent system that is most popular is called the TCF, and it was created to make European law go away. Online advertising today, a big part of it, is a huge data breach where companies throw to the winds very, very sensitive secrets about everyone. You cannot consent to something that you don't understand. You can't be asked to consent to something that the person asking you doesn't understand.
The system is built to wear you down, to make privacy feel inconvenient, tedious, impossible. The average privacy policy is longer than Shakespeare's Hamlet. Reading every privacy policy you encounter in a year would take 250 hours, and most are written at a college graduate reading level in intentionally vague legalese. This isn't by accident, it's by design.
No one reads them, apart from a couple of people who are very interested in privacy on an academic level. And we just all go, yes, sure, whatever. Because what's the alternative? You don't get to use it, right? And they call this consent. This is not consent. We don't really have a choice here, because what we are losing when we say no, when we say, I don't consent to this, I don't consent to Facebook, I don't consent to Google, I don't consent to TikTok, I don't consent. Well, what am I not consenting to? I'm not consenting to taking part in modern life, because these technologies are a core part of our lives now. It's how we live our lives, it's how we communicate, it's how we keep in touch. They're not optional anymore.
That is the power of these tech companies. They make us feel like if we're not active and we're not posting and tagging and sharing and liking, that we don't exist, or we're not good enough, or we're not succeeding, which is not true.
We believe privacy is a fundamental human right.
Apple unveiled new privacy features at
Tech giants are under federal investigation for possible antitrust.
Critics say big tech tramples our privacy, but the companies insist they're not the villains, just playing by the rules, offering consent tools and publishing transparency reports.
Mr. Zuckerberg, would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No. Today, for any service we provide our users, we go to great lengths to protect their privacy, and we give them transparency, choice, and control.
We do not condone the effort by certain former employees to access US TikTok user data in an attempt to identify the source of leaked confidential information.
We care about your privacy doesn't mean what you think it means. It's not transparency, it's not accountability, it's corporate for just click accept so we can keep doing exactly what we're doing, but legally.
You cannot trust this industry. They have proven again and again that they cannot be trusted with our well-being or with the future of our societies, even when lives are at risk. And one should not give the industry any faith at all. If we have a system that is broadcasting all of that kind of intimate data about everyone, everywhere, all over the world, it means that no one is safe.
As I started to get stalked, and the sabotage against me was really bad, I think he managed to get into my iCloud. He had access to my entire database of contacts. He started to create WhatsApp groups pretending to be me. So I had numerous fake accounts threatening me. I had numerous accounts pretending to be me and contacting friends and family, business contacts from a fake me that made me look like a sort of undesirable bad person. The thing that really affected me was that people started to get scared and upset. So it would get a little worse and a little worse each time, and the fear amongst my friends and family was going up.
The Federal Trade Commission reported that social media and video streaming companies collect vast amounts of personal data, often without clear user consent, and share this information with third parties.
If someone tells me, why should I care about my privacy? I have nothing to hide. Well, I tell them, okay, unlock your phone for me and just give it to me. I'm going to step into the other room. I'm just going to spend 10 minutes with your phone there and see if they like that. Because it's not about having something to hide, but because certain things belong just to you. If we don't have that initial right to make that decision, then other people can read into our actions, can read into what we're doing.
Well, privacy isn't about secrecy, it's about context.
There's so much of our personal information online, and until it happens to you, you have no idea how that can be weaponized against you. So for me, pictures of me were taken from certain points in my life, just a few pictures, and put together and sent to my new colleagues to form a narrative of their own. So you're never going to know how the information that already exists could be used against you. It's really hard to imagine.
Muslim Pro was a very popular Muslim prayer application that was being instrumented by a company named Xmode Social, which is now known as OutLogic, and is part of a larger company now named Digital Envoy. I mean, obviously the civil rights implications of that, and it's sort of a very dark issue for the US military, let's say on the tail end of the global war on terror, to be privately collecting GPS coordinates of Muslims around the world.
The European Digital Rights Group calls this system what it is: a live broadcast of your personal life transmitted to unknown companies without meaningful consent. And this isn't just some fringe practice. In 2021 alone, the average real-time bidding system broadcasted European user data hundreds of billions of times per day across thousands of intermediaries. The result? Your personal life is constantly for sale. Not once, but over and over again.
There is a common misperception, as you say, that is just reported, often keeps on being reported, that for some reason we sell data. I can't be clearer on this topic. We don't sell data. That's not how...
Mark Zuckerberg's been pretty clear, under oath no less. Facebook doesn't sell your data, he says. Your personal info, according to them, it never leaves the building.
Back in 2017, long before this system was introduced, the industry trade body wrote to the European Commission, we cannot know where data about someone is going to go because that's the way our system works. We send the data out and maybe we get money back in for the particular ad space. And that is the definition of a free-for-all. And there is no way to make that legal because it is a data breach.
Imagine every photo you've ever posted online, your graduation, a family barbecue, a candid moment with friends. Now envision those images being harvested without your knowledge to build a facial recognition database. Clearview AI, a US-based facial recognition company, has allegedly scraped over 30 billion images from social media platforms to construct its database.
There is also a First Amendment right to public information. So the way we have built our system is to only take publicly available information and index it that way.
This vast repository is then made accessible to law enforcement agencies, private companies. It's a perpetual police lineup powered by your selfies. But the company's stance? It's not stealing, it's searching, just like Google, just for faces. And if it helps catch criminals or rescue kids, that, they say, makes it worth it.
One way that I go ahead and draw the line between what I protect and what I share is making sure that I choose topics that tend to be very lighthearted and avoid very sensitive topics that could give really negative remarks. So, you know, coming from a background of 3 different cultures, being Muslim, Indian, as well as American, it can be a little difficult to even find a good balance between those 3 different cultural and topics.
A study by Joy Buolamwini and Timnit Gebru revealed that commercial facial analysis algorithms had error rates of up to 34.7% for darker-skinned women compared to 0.8% for lighter-skinned men. The American Civil Liberties Union has highlighted instances where FRT has led to wrongful arrests, particularly affecting Black individuals. These aren't random errors, they're signals showing us exactly who pays the price when the system gets it wrong.
If you look at the terrible toll it will take on us all as individuals, because we can be manipulated and discriminated against based on dossiers held on our most intimate secrets by parties all over the world. Those problems collectively, any individual one of them, are big enough to be called a crisis. But the crisis is hidden, it's invisible.
When it comes to these big platforms, they are absolutely collecting your data, and that's why you have to be extremely mindful of what you say and what you put out on the internet. It's very easy to have this information dug back up on you at any point in time, especially when it comes to even employment. Trying to fight it is one of the hardest things to do, but there are certain ways that you can do this.
For the first time, the Federal Trade Commission is taking a tech company to court for selling data that could track people to sensitive locations.
In 2022, investigative journalists blew the lid off this gem. A data broker called SafeGraph was selling location data from visits to abortion clinics, including Planned Parenthood. We're talking where people came from, how long they stayed, where they went after, all for the low price of $160. Because in the data economy, even your reproductive choices are up for grabs. SafeGraph eventually pulled the plug after public outrage made it impossible not to. But the headline here isn't that they stopped, it's that they never started, and no one noticed until it was too late. Suddenly, this wasn't just invasive, it was dangerous. Because when reproductive rights get dragged into criminal court, your phone isn't just a device, it's a witness. Or worse, a snitch with perfect memory and no loyalty.
Obviously, another major thing that has happened is mapping out activism groups. So, for example, Dataminer is one of the social media surveillance companies that got a lot of heat for helping police monitor Black Lives Matter protests.
This is the shift. You technically still have the right to protest, but now the price tag is being calculated in real time by algorithms. That phone in your pocket, supposed to be your freedom, your voice, your lifeline. But in the wrong hands, it doubles as a tracking device, a surveillance cam, a digital leash. However, Data Miner wasn't having it. In a strongly worded statement, they rejected in the strongest possible terms any claim their alerts had anything to do with race or ethnicity, which is corporate for absolutely not, and how dare you suggest otherwise?
It is a danger to the United States for there to be something like Mastodon to exist, where there isn't a company on the back end like controlling which conversations cross boundaries.
Privacy isn't about hiding, it's about breathing. It's about safety, autonomy, the freedom to disappear for a bit, to explore, to mess up, to grow, without an audience live streaming your character development. Because when you're always being watched, you don't evolve, you start to shrink. The General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, and the California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, on paper, they're landmark rules that finally force companies to explain what they're collecting and give users a way to opt out. Total game changers. In practice, that opt-out button is buried under 47 clicks, 3 riddles, and a scrollable novella of legal jargon. Fines? A rounding error for big tech.
We have law, we have enforcement, we just don't use it. But if we did use it, what we would do is we would stop the broadcast of these sensitive data. You would be able to send data, but you wouldn't be able to send data that allow a person to be singled out. It's really simple. And the funny thing is, the advertising would work better. You would have less fraud, you'd have a less broken market, and it would also solve really huge problems for national security.
But is it really that simple? Even Meta's head of privacy says privacy isn't sacred, it's a moving target. And the hardest part? Keeping up with the regulations that shift faster than your For You page.
I have about 10 police cases, and the police are so behind because they still don't feel that an online threat is as serious as physical harm. And every time that I opened a police case, they would close the case within a few weeks because they would say to me, there's not enough evidence to prove who's behind it, so we're closing the case. Even though I had piles and piles of emails and printouts of WhatsApps and so much evidence, they couldn't prove which individual was behind this. So I think the biggest problem is that the police don't understand what stalking and harassment online, the danger that it really represents.
There are people fighting back. Groups like NOYB, None of Your Business, led by Max Schrems, taking big tech to court. Privacy International, EFF, educating, litigating, resisting. They're doing the work governments should have done, but here's the reality. They're underfunded, outnumbered, going toe-to-toe with trillion-dollar tech giants backed by armies of lawyers, lobbyists, and engineers in Patagonia vests. And even when they do win, they're not just fighting shady apps or rogue companies, they're going up against the business model itself. Because this isn't about one app or one company. It's about an entire system designed to extract, where your data is currency, and your privacy, just annoying friction that slows the money down.
Centralized technologies amplify the ideologies of the people in power, the people with wealth, and the people who are in control today. If we want a different future, if we want a more progressive future, if we want a future that veers away from fascism, then we need a different type of technology to amplify different ideologies.
I realized that what is designed to make us feel powerful and validated is actually self-surveillance. And the settings online are very open. It's up to us to make things private.
It was supposed to be simple. Privacy is a right. But somewhere along the way, it turned into a luxury. The privacy paradox? It's not just about data. It's about control. It's about the freedom to just exist without always being on display.
We are in the same place we were in decades ago with pollution and the chemicals industry. We just need our enforcers to do their jobs. This is not a problem for all of society. It is not our responsibility to be consciously paranoid about who's monitoring us.
We may never fully reclaim what's already been taken, but we still get to decide what comes next. Because when we're trading privacy for convenience, will we even remember what we gave up to get it?